Prince Charles bombshell, how Prince was toughened up by angry Prince Philip, too soft. Prince Charles had a lonely and heartbreaking childhood which resulted in scathing comments later in the Prince of Wales' life. The future king may have enjoyed the privileges that came with his status as a royal. However, his life was also plagued with high expectations and great disappointments. When the prince hit rock bottom after his separation from Diana in 1992, he unburdened himself about the miseries of his youth to Jonathan Dimbleby, who was writing an authorized biography on the prince. As a little boy, Charles was easily cowed by the forceful personality of his father, whose rebukes for a deficiency in behavior or attitude easily drew tears. Sally Bedell-Smith, a royal biographer, wrote in Prince Charles, The Passions and Paradoxes of an Improbable Life, that Prince Charles was belittled as a young boy by his father's own forceful personality. Ms. Bedell-Smith said, Prince Philip wasn't pleased with the fact that Prince Charles appeared to be too soft and was worried that Charles could become weak and vulnerable, so he set about toughening him up. Asked in an interview when he was 20 years old whether his father had been a tough disciplinarian and whether he had been told to sit down and shut up, Charles answered without hesitation, the whole time, yes. The unintended result was that Charles retreated further into his shell. He had no other source of male reinforcement in his early childhood. His paternal grandfather had died before he was born, and one of his greatest regrets, Charles later said, was not having really known his maternal grandfather, King George VI, who died at age 56 when his grandson was just 3. My grandmother was the person who taught me to look at things, Charles recalled in the biography. He would later become a passionate amateur painter and architecture critic, in part thanks to her influence. Once when Charles tried to share his excitement over the Leonardo da Vinci drawings in the library at Windsor Castle, his parents and siblings were merely bemused. As Jonathan Dimbleby later recalled in his book, Charles felt squashed and guilty that he had in some indefinable way let his family down. In Charles, The Destiny of a Prince, the BBC documentary reveals how Charles' loneliness during his younger years would still remain in his later life, especially during his marriage to Princess Diana. During the late 80s, the media was infatuated with Princess Diana and saw her as a gentle soul, so accessible to people all over the world. As for Charles, however, the press poked fun at the Prince of Wales with headlines including Prince finds peace alone in the Hermitaire. Accusations of Charles hiding away from reality and being out of touch with reality were splashed across front pages. Diana was vibrant, keen to go places and do things, to go to parties and receptions, balls and plays. She wanted to be around people, to see and be seen. Charles, on the other hand, was, and still is, a classic homebody. He was content to putter around his garden, and socialize with a few close friends. Well into his 70s, Charles continued to complain about the unhappiness he had felt during his younger years. And as his cousin Pamela Hicks observed, he can never leave anything behind him.